Welcome to the Deep Dive. We love taking deep dives into complex topics.
Right.
Today, we're going to be strapping on our digital armor and taking a plunge into the world of cybersecurity in 2024.
Okay.
Our guide for this underwater adventure is Microsoft's Digital Defense Report for 2024, hot off the presses, filled with insights from July 2023 to June 2024.
Uh-huh.
But this isn't just about reeling off a list of threats.
Right.
It's about understanding the WHY behind the attacks and what you can actually do about it.
Yeah, you're right. It's about connecting the dots and seeing the bigger picture. This report, compiled by Microsoft security experts, doesn't just look at lone hackers.
Okay.
It dives into the murky waters where cybercriminals and nation-states are increasingly swimming together.
Okay, that sounds a little ominous. So we're not just talking about teenagers in basements anymore.
Not exactly. Think about it. A nation-state wants to cause chaos, maybe disrupt an enemy's power grid, but they don't want their fingerprints on it. So they hire a cyber criminal group like mercenaries in the digital world.
Oh.
One example the report highlights is the Russian group Aqua Blizzard.
Right.
They compromised devices in Ukraine, but instead of launching attacks themselves, they handed over access to a criminal group called Storm 0593.
So it's like a digital version of The Godfather outsourcing the dirty work.
In a way, yes. Nation-states get plausible deniability and the cybercriminals get paid. But for you, this means the threat landscape is becoming even more complex. Attributing attacks and building defenses becomes much more difficult.
So it's like trying to fight a ghost. And speaking of fighting, the report dives into something called hybrid warfare. Is this as intense as it sounds?
It is. Imagine this. It's not just about bombs and bullets anymore. Countries are combining cyber attacks with carefully crafted campaigns to manipulate public opinion and sow discord. We've seen this play out in the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. Russia and Iran, for example, haven't just used traditional military force. They've deployed sophisticated cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns to undermine their opponents.
So it's like a digital fog of war, where it's hard to know what's real and what's fake. The report even mentions an Iranian group that impersonated Hamas to spread disinformation and threaten Israelis. I mean, how can anyone even begin to sort through all of that?
That's a crucial question, and it gets even more complicated when you throw AI into the mix.
Right. Because it's not just nation-states playing this game. 2024 saw a record number of elections worldwide, with billions of people heading to the polls. You know, that means a giant, juicy target for anyone looking to meddle.
Exactly. And the report shows that Russia, Iran, and China have all been busy trying to influence elections around the globe. While Russia's efforts were the most extensive, Iran's use of AI is particularly concerning.
Here's where things get really interesting. Iran apparently used AI to create fake websites that looked exactly like legitimate U.S. news outlets. These sites were then used to spread divisive and inflammatory content, AI-generated propaganda, if you will.
It's a new level of sophistication, and it's incredibly difficult to detect and combat. Imagine trying to spot a counterfeit bill that's been flawlessly recreated using the latest technology. That's the challenge we're facing.
So how do we fight back?
It starts with awareness. You need to be skeptical of what you see online, especially during elections.
Right.
And this leads to another concerning trend that the report covers: ransomware.
Oh yeah, ransomware, the gift that keeps on giving for cybercriminals.
Right.
But here's a curveball. The report shows that while more organizations are getting hit with ransomware attacks, the percentage actually paying the ransoms has decreased. I'm confused. Shouldn't it be the other way around?
It might seem counterintuitive, but it actually points to some positive developments. Awareness is growing and defenses are improving. But here's the catch. The attackers are getting more sophisticated too.
So it's a constant game of cat and mouse.
Exactly. And to understand this evolution, the report dives into a fascinating case study of a group called Octotempest. They started with SIM swapping, basically stealing your phone number to hijack your accounts.
Okay, I've heard of that, pretty sneaky. But what does that have to do with ransomware?
Well, Octotempest didn't stop there. They leveled up and added ransomware to their arsenal, showing how adaptable these criminals are, and their impact was huge.
Just how big are we talking?
Octotempest was considered the FBI's third highest priority for cybercrime investigations, ranking just below China and Russia. That shows you the scale of their operations.
Wow. From phone hijacking to a top FBI target, that's a serious leap. And it makes you wonder, what's the next frontier for these cybercriminals?
Well, the report points to one area in particular: identity. It's not just about breaking into systems anymore. It's about stealing your digital identity, your credentials, your access to everything.
That's scary. And it sounds like a much bigger problem than just having your Facebook account hacked.
It is. Think about it. With stolen credentials, attackers can access your bank accounts, your email, your cloud storage, basically, your entire digital life. And the scale of these attacks is mind-boggling. The report states that Microsoft thwarts a staggering 7,000 password attacks every second.
Every second. That's insane. So what can we do to protect ourselves?
That's where things start to look a little brighter. While the threats are evolving, so are the defenses. And the report highlights Microsoft's Secure Future Initiative, a comprehensive approach to building a safer digital world.
Okay, let's talk about that. What exactly is Microsoft doing to fight back?
Think of it as a multi-layered approach. It starts with proactive vulnerability management, finding and fixing weaknesses before attackers can exploit them. It also emphasizes a hierarchical approach to security, addressing the most fundamental needs first.
So it's like building a house. You need a solid foundation before you start adding the fancy features.
Exactly. And the report uses this great analogy of a vault. Imagine a vault with a super strong lock, but an open vent leading to the roof. It doesn't matter how strong the lock is if there's another way in.
That makes perfect sense.
Ow.
It's about seeing the big picture and not just focusing on one aspect of security.
Precisely. And this brings us to one of the most transformative developments in cybersecurity, AI.
Ah, AI. The buzzword of the century. But how is it actually changing the game in cybersecurity?
AI is reshaping both offense and defense. For defenders, it's like having an army of digital guardians constantly analyzing data, spotting patterns, and identifying threats faster than any human could.
And I've heard about these AI co-pilots. It's like having a personal security expert working alongside you, right?
That's the idea. AI can help you understand complex data, make informed decisions, and respond to threats in real time. But here's the catch. Attackers are also using AI to enhance their tactics.
Oh, come on. Seriously. It's like we can't have anything nice in cybersecurity.
It's the unfortunate reality. We're seeing AI being used to craft incredibly convincing phishing attacks, create deepfakes that are almost impossible to distinguish from real videos, and spread disinformation with alarming speed and efficiency.
So it's a double-edged sword. AI can be a powerful tool for good, but in the wrong hands, it can be incredibly dangerous.
Exactly. And that's why the report emphasizes the need for a collaborative approach to cybersecurity. It's not just a tech problem, it's a societal issue that demands collective action.
So you're talking about governments and industries working together, sharing information, and coordinating their efforts.
Absolutely. The report highlights several examples of this collaboration. International standards being developed for AI security, cross-border law enforcement operations to take down cybercriminal networks, and initiatives like the Roundtable for AI, Security, and Ethics.
I remember reading about Canada's role in disrupting the Lockbit ransomware gang. It's encouraging to see countries working together to make a real impact.
It shows that even individual nations can play a significant role in combating global cyber threats. But what about you? How do you think AI will impact your life, both personally and professionally, in the coming years?
That's a great question, and we'll dive deeper into the implications of AI in part 2 of our exploration of the Microsoft Digital Defense Report. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Microsoft's Digital Defense Report.
We're picking up where we left off, exploring the wild world of AI and its impact on the cybersecurity landscape.
And as we journey further into this report, you'll be amazed by the sheer volume and sophistication of cyber attacks happening every single day.
So give us the numbers. How bad is it, really?
Hold on tight, because the report reveals that Microsoft thwarts a staggering 600 million identity attacks per day. It's a constant digital onslaught.
600 million. That's like every single person in North America getting attacked every day.
Yeah.
It's enough to make you want to unplug and live in a cave.
It's certainly a daunting challenge. But there's good news, too. The report highlights how AI is leveling the playing field, giving defenders a fighting chance.
So there's hope. We're not just sitting ducks.
Not at all. AI enables us to operate at speeds and scales that wouldn't be possible for humans alone. Imagine trying to manually analyze every single piece of data that flows through a network. It would be impossible. AI, on the other hand, can sift through mountains of information in the blink of an eye, identifying subtle patterns and anomalies that might indicate an attack.
It's like having a superpowered security guard watching over your entire digital world.
Exactly. And these AI-powered guardians are constantly learning and evolving, becoming more effective at detecting and responding to threats. The report highlights the rise of AI-powered security solutions that are revolutionizing the way we approach cybersecurity.
One of the key takeaways from the report is the concept of a Security Operations Center, or SOC. enhanced by AI. Can you break that down for us?
Think of a SOC as the central nervous system of an organization's security infrastructure. It's where security professionals work 24/7, monitoring systems, analyzing data, and coordinating responses to potential threats.
So it's like a cybersecurity war room with flashing screens and people running around frantically.
There might be some of that, but AI is transforming these war rooms, giving security analysts superhuman capabilities. Imagine being able to see everything happening on your network all at once and having the ability to instantly identify potential threats. That's what AI brings to the table.
Wow, it's like having a digital X-ray vision for your entire IT infrastructure.
You could say that. AI can analyze data from countless sources, identify patterns that humans might miss, and even predict future attacks based on historical trends. It's about being proactive, anticipating threats before they even materialize.
The report highlights 7 key areas where AI is boosting efficiency in security operations. Can you give us a quick rundown?
Of course, AI can automate routine tasks, freeing up human analysts for more complex investigations. It can gather and analyze intelligence from a vast network of sources, providing a more comprehensive view of the threat landscape. It can even make knowledge retrieval more efficient, allowing employees to quickly access critical security information without having to dig through mountains of documents.
So it's like having a cybersecurity encyclopedia at your fingertips. What else can AI do?
AI is great at risk assessment. By processing massive amounts of data, both internal and external, AI can evaluate the risk level of various entities, services, and accounts within an organization.
So it's like having a digital detective constantly evaluating potential threats and vulnerabilities.
That's a great analogy. AI can spot those subtle red flags that might indicate a heightened risk, allowing security teams to prioritize their efforts and focus on the most critical areas.
That sounds incredibly helpful. What about learning from past attacks? Can AI help with that?
Absolutely. One of AI's greatest strengths is its ability to learn from experience. By analyzing historical security data, AI can identify trends, pinpoint vulnerabilities that were exploited in previous attacks, and recommend strategies to prevent similar incidents from happening again.
It's like having a security advisor who studied every cyber attack in history and can use that knowledge to protect you from future threats.
That's the power of AI in cybersecurity. It's not just about reacting to threats, it's about learning, adapting, and constantly evolving to stay ahead of the curve.
Speaking of evolving threats, the report also delves into the growing complexity of cyber attacks, specifically referencing the IRE, ATT, and CK framework. Can you explain what that is and why this complexity is such a big deal?
The IET, AT, and CK framework is like a playbook for cyber attacks. It catalogs the tactics and techniques that attackers use. And unfortunately, it's getting bigger every year. In 2015, it had 9 tactics and 96 techniques. Fast forward to 2024, and we're looking at 14 tactics, 202 techniques, and a staggering 435 sub-techniques.
That's a massive jump. But why is this complexity such a problem?
Think of it this way. The more complex these attacks become, the harder they are to detect and defend against. Traditional, rules-based security systems are struggling to keep up. They're like trying to stop a swarm of bees with a tennis racket.
So where does AI fit into all of this? Can it handle this level of complexity?
That's where AI really shines. AI can analyze massive amounts of data at lightning speed, sifting through all those tactics and techniques, identifying subtle patterns and anomalies that might signal an emerging threat.
It's like having a superpowered detective who can connect the dots and crack the case before the crime even happens.
Exactly. And AI can take it a step further with something called predictive remediation.
Okay, that sounds intriguing. What exactly is predictive remediation?
Traditionally, remediation is reactive. You wait for an attack to happen, then you scramble to clean up the mess. But predictive remediation uses AI to flip the script. It analyzes data from past attacks, identifies emerging trends, and then recommends or even automatically implements preventative measures to protect against similar attacks in the future.
So it's like having a security system that can see into the future and take action to prevent bad things from happening.
That's a great way to put it. It's about shifting from a reactive to a proactive security posture, making your systems more resilient and adaptable.
The report dives into how AI is revolutionizing the way we handle phishing attacks, particularly those reported by users. Why is this a significant challenge, and how is AI making a difference?
Think about it. Every day, millions of people click on phishing links or open suspicious attachments. Many of them realize their mistake and report those emails to their IT departments. But this creates a flood of user-submitted phish that security teams have to sift through trying to find the real threats amongst all the false alarms.
So it's like finding a needle in a haystack, a very large digital haystack.
Exactly. It's a time-consuming and often frustrating process. But AI can help. AI-powered systems can analyze these user-submitted emails at incredible speed, identifying key characteristics that distinguish malicious emails from harmless marketing messages.
So it's like having an AI-powered spam filter, but specifically trained to identify phishing attempts.
Precisely. AI can filter out the false positives, allowing security analysts to focus their energy on the real threats, the emails that actually pose a risk. It's about working smarter, not harder.
That makes a lot of sense. And throughout this report, there's this recurring theme of human-AI collaboration. It seems like the future of cybersecurity isn't about AI taking over, but rather about AI empowering human experts.
You're right. AI is a powerful tool, but it's not a magic bullet. It's most effective when used in conjunction with human intelligence, judgment, and creativity.
So it's a partnership where each side brings its unique strengths to the table.
Exactly. Humans bring critical thinking, intuition, and adaptability, while AI brings speed, scale, and analytical precision. Together, they can create a more robust and resilient defense against evolving cyber threats.
This report has been eye-opening. It's clear that AI is transforming the cybersecurity landscape in profound ways. But what about the bigger picture? How is this AI-powered future shaping up on a global scale?
That's a great question, and that's exactly what we'll be exploring in the final part of our deep dive. Stay tuned as we delve into the world of collective action and the efforts being made to build a more secure digital world for everyone.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring this wild world of cyber threats, from those shadowy nation-state actors to the rise of AI in both attack and defense.
And as we reach the final chapter of the Microsoft Digital Defense Report, our focus shifts to a crucial theme: collective action.
Okay, so it's not just about building bigger walls and stronger firewalls. We need to work together to stay safe online.
Exactly. The report really emphasizes that cybersecurity is not just a tech company or government problem. It's a shared responsibility. It demands collaboration across, well, really all sectors of society.
So it's kind of like realizing that neighborhood safety isn't just the police's job. It takes everyone kind of watching out for each other.
That's a great analogy. We all have a role to play in safeguarding our digital communities.
The report highlights some pretty inspiring examples of this collective action in motion. One that caught my eye was the Roundtable for AI, Security, and Ethics, or RAISE for short.
Yeah, RAISE is a perfect example of how industry leaders, academics, and policymakers are coming together to address the unique challenges and opportunities that AI brings to the table in cybersecurity.
So it's like a brain trust for the AI age, focusing on developing ethical and responsible guidelines for AI development and deployment.
Precisely. RAISE tackles a wide range of issues, from ensuring the security and robustness of AI systems to mitigating the risks of AI being misused for malicious purposes.
One of their key areas of focus is election security, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
They've developed a set of principles aimed at preventing the misuse of AI in elections, sort of a code of conduct for the digital age, I guess.
Right. It's about ensuring AI is used to enhance democratic processes, not undermine them. These principles address really critical issues like transparency and accountability in AI-generated content, protecting voters from AI-enabled disinformation campaigns, and just fostering trust in the electoral process.
That's reassuring, especially considering the growing sophistication of these AI-powered disinformation tactics.
Yeah.
But it's not just about elections, right? What about critical infrastructure like power grids and transportation systems? Those feel like prime targets for attacks.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. These systems are, well, they're increasingly reliant on digital technologies, making them more vulnerable than ever. A successful attack on critical infrastructure could have devastating consequences. Imagine, a city plunged into darkness or a transportation system grinding to a halt.
It's like something out of a dystopian sci-fi movie, but it could actually happen.
That's why the report emphasizes the need for governments and industries to work, really, hand in hand. Sharing information, coordinating defenses, and building more resilient infrastructure are crucial for mitigating these risks.
It sounds like we need to break down those silos and foster a culture of collaboration and information sharing.
Exactly. And it's not just about traditional IT systems. The report also delves into the challenges of securing operational technology, or OT. These are the systems that control physical processes in critical infrastructure. Think power plants, manufacturing facilities, water treatment plants.
So if traditional IT is like the brain of an organization, OT is like the muscles and bones that make things happen in the real world.
That's a great way to put it. And unfortunately, many OT systems are older, less secure, and often connected to traditional IT networks, creating potential vulnerabilities that attackers could exploit.
And the consequences could be more than just data breaches. We're talking about potential physical damage and disruption of essential services.
Absolutely. It's a stark reminder that cybersecurity is not just about protecting data, it's about protecting lives and livelihoods.
So what can we do to better protect these critical OT systems?
Well, the report outlines a three-step action plan, focusing on modernizing authentication systems, implementing secure configuration management, and adopting a secure development lifecycle.
So it sounds like taking a proactive and holistic approach is key, addressing vulnerabilities across all aspects of an organization's operations.
You got it. Security is a chain reaction. It's only as strong as its weakest link.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a mix of awe and concern. The cybersecurity landscape is incredibly complex, and the threats are constantly evolving. But there's also a sense of hope and excitement about the potential for innovation and collective action.
Yeah, I agree. While the challenges are real, so are the opportunities. The report emphasizes the power of collaboration, a commitment to continuous learning and, embracing innovation as we navigate this ever-changing terrain.
And of course, the emergence of AI is undoubtedly reshaping the cybersecurity landscape in profound ways.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be involved in this field. While the threats are real, so are the opportunities to make a real difference and build a more secure digital world.
So to all our fellow deep divers out there, we encourage you to stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay engaged. The future of cybersecurity is a story we're writing together. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, stay safe out there.